I think that's everyone. Let me know if you are having any problems. I'll share my screen. Whoops, that was the wrong screen. I think, I don't know. Let me try that again. Share screen, screen 1. Why is it screen 2 now? Okay. You guys can see my browser, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did an update this afternoon to my computer, so who knows what's going to happen. Okay, so we are exercise 2, more bash. So this one's a little bit more interesting, right? Because we're starting to use more advanced commands. So the first thing I do is I say download and save this file. Okay, so how do we download a file using bash?
Cool.
Curl, yeah. So I'm just gonna make a new directory. So I want you to download it to the shell exercise directory. So if that doesn't already exist, create it, right? So we're gonna make dir shell exercise. Oh, it exists. So that's fine. Let's see, do we have anything in there? Yeah, we do. I'm just going to remove everything in there, actually. Okay. So I'm going to do a remove star, and that will just remove all the files in there. Are you sure? It's going to prompt you. Are you sure you want to delete all the files? Yeah. And it can't remove the CSS directories because. So I'm going to show you a command which you should never run unless you really, really know what you're doing. Okay. So I can't remove this. As we know, I can't remove this folder because it's got stuff in it. Okay, and I can't do a rmdir because then I'd have to go in and delete all the stuff. That's annoying. So you can see how annoying that could be as you start to have a bigger hierarchy and you're like, I just want to delete everything below that. So I want to delete this folder and all the folders inside and all the files inside. I don't care what's in it. Okay. And as you can see, that's a little bit of a problem. I can't do an rmdir, okay, on CSS because it's not empty. And I can't do an rm on CSS because rm is for directories. Sorry, rm is for files, but that's actually not true. So there's a couple flags. rm-r is a recursive delete, okay? So it deletes everything inside, plus everything inside of that, plus everything inside of that, plus everything inside of that. So it keeps going down, right? We've seen that R flag before. This time, instead of a capital R, it's a lowercase r. Different commands take different flags, but the meaning is the same, okay? And the whole thing's gone. Okay, rm-r CSS. Doesn't prompt, doesn't ask anything, just does it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing for JS, rm-r. So it removed all the files and the directory in one shot.
Can you do rm-r star?
Yeah. That'll delete everything in this directory. Yeah, if you do,
if there's like files, it also deletes. It just deletes any file and document and the folders, right?
Let's go try it out. What do I got? I got tabs, temp. Is there anything in here? Oh, okay, rm-r star. So it will ask me. I'm going to say no. If I put an F on there, it's a force. It doesn't ask me. No prompt. Oh, that's surprising. F force. Yeah, force. Okay, I guess force would give you a prompt. It just forces things that you should delete. Yeah, so so now it's gone. All the files would be gone in there too. That's why you got to be careful, right? Because you can just like, whoops. And remember, there's no recycle bin. So where did they go? They're gone. They're totally gone. So actually, I can delete everything in here. Wait, what's in practice? Yeah. So my home directory is empty, which is fine. I don't need anything in there anyways. It doesn't delete hidden stuff, which we haven't talked about yet. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to create my new directory, shell exercise. And we'll go into that directory. CD. We don't have to. We can run the commands from here. So to download this, I have to copy this URL. There we go. Good. Copy. And we're going to do a curl. And we're going to do a -o. Where are we going to output it? We're going to output it to shell exercise. And we're going to call it shell intro.html. So I'm telling it where to go. I'm telling it what to call it. And then I'm going to say, yeah, follow all redirects and use this URL. And there we go. So if I look in here, there's nothing. But if I go into shell exercise, I have a new file, shell intro.html. Okay, you can see that right here. Now, create a new subdirectory called files and move the HTML file you just saved into there. Okay, so, okay, make dir subdirectory files and move shell intro, that file I just saved, into there. Okay, so that's a move shell intro, and we're moving it to where? We're moving it to the files directory. And because files already exist as a directory, it knows, okay, I'm taking this file and I'm moving it into this directory. And then we can go into the file. Let's take a quick look. We can see shell intro is gone, and instead my listing shows just one directory. So I'm going to go into that directory and we're going to take a look. So you can see I'm in that directory, home, shell exercise, files, and inside that directory, I have my shell intro.html file. Okay. Print the contents of this file out to the terminal. Okay. So print it out to the terminal, shell intro. And there we go. There's my HTML for that page that I downloaded, shell intro. Okay. So it's just printing the contents of it. Print it out in a paginated manner. Okay. Instead of cat, which concatenates it, the whole thing to the screen, we're going to use less. And we're going to do shell intro. So now paginated version. I can go up or down using the arrow keys, or I can do space bar and go a bunch at a time. Until we get to the end. Once we get to the end, we're done. Okay. Less to do in a more paginated manner. Using grep, look for this string inside the file that I downloaded. Okay, so how grep works, again, if you don't remember, grep looks for a substring or a string, in a string, substring, word, characters, whatever. Okay, it finds a string inside a file if it's there. Okay, so what do we type in? The string that we're looking for. The string that we're looking for is intro to the shell. And then we type in the file that we want to look in, and that is shell intro. And sure enough, it shows up twice, and it prints out the lines where it shows up. And again, I think grep has grep numbers. Using grep, I think, so grep -- help, and I'm gonna pass that into, I'm gonna grep that because I wanna look for the word line numbers in grep help. There must be a way to print out the line numbers here to see. Print out only the selected lines, print out the names, skip directories, skip files. Line number, print the line number with output lines, -n. So if I pass in, if I pass in -n into here, it'll print out the line numbers where those show up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's handier. It's better. So now I would know where to go look, right? Which line did that appear on? Oh, line 5, line 34. Cool. Okay. And now we're going to delete the whole directory. So just like I showed you, rm-r files, and that will delete the whole files directory. Oh, I want to delete, the whole files directory. If you delete the whole shell exercise directory, that's fine too. Okay. Questions on anything that I showed you here? How did that go?
It was really slow.
It was really slow?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Mine, like when I was doing it, it was really slow. Like,
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. You're new at this?
yes.
Right? Yeah. So like, of course it's slow. It takes a long time to get quick at this. And I don't know what you think when you watch me, if you think I'm really fast, but I'm not. I can send you YouTube videos of people working in the shell and it will like make your head explode. And it's just like, the more you work in it, the more you get used to it. When I started my first job, I didn't have any shell experience at all. I remember it was my first time programming. It was my second programming job. My first programming job, it was a Windows job, and you don't actually use a lot of shell on Windows, unfortunately, which is why I kind of look down on Windows programmers a little bit. So when I got into my second job, that's when I was actually programming in Ruby. That was my first Ruby job. And Ruby, JavaScript, Python, all these other programming languages are really heavy shell programming languages. Like .NET, the programming language that you're going to be doing in the back end, you don't use the shell. But there's so many programming languages out there where you need to use the shell, and on C, C++, all of those things. And so I was forced to do it on the job, and I was really, really slow and very apprehensive and scared. But over time, you just start to get really comfortable with it. And then after I learned it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know this before. And this actually gave me so much of a better understanding about how computers work and how they're organized and stuff like that. And realization that you don't need a GUI. Actually, a GUI is detrimental. Because having a GUI, I find for myself, I feel like I'm hunting and pecking a lot. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. Instead, I'm waiting for the answer to appear in front of me. Like, I think it's somewhere in here. Let me see what's in here. Oh, okay. Let me see what's in there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see what's in there. Right. Whereas in the terminal, you have to be very focused about like, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. And so it actually forces you to think a little bit more than to just be more passive about it. Over time, you'll start to get a lot faster, trust me. Okay, number 2, or number 1. We're gonna be doing kind of the same thing. Okay, again, just muscle memory. Okay, so we're gonna curl this bad boy, curl-o, and we're gonna save it part5.html. So we're gonna do -o into the output, the name of the file, and the location if we want, right? Like if we don't want it in here, we can say, actually, no, save it to one directory higher, or save it here. If we save it into a directory that doesn't exist, it won't create it for us. I'm pretty sure. So we could try that, but see, it says failed writing body. No, failed to create the file. No such file or directory. Okay, so it wasn't able to write it because we asked to put it in a directory that doesn't exist. So the directory at least has to exist. That's no problem. Okay, so we're able to save that. Create another subdirectory called more files. So make dir more files. Print the contents of that whole file out to the terminal. We're doing exactly the same thing, right? And again, I know we're doing exactly the same thing. This whole thing is about muscle memory. So do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Okay. Make dir more files. Print the contents out of the into the terminal. How do I print that out? Cat. Oh, I want to move that to more files. Move part 5 to more files. Okay, don't forget to use, you can't even see my keyboard, to use the tab button. Okay, to use the tab button. Don't forget to use the tab button to autocomplete. So it's moved now. Now we can cat. I'll show you something different. Instead of going into that directory and catting, I'm going to cat it from the upper directory. So instead of going into the more files directory and doing the cat from here, I'm going to stay in my upper directory and cat more files part 5. So I don't need to be in the directory. Again, one of those things, I don't need to be in the directory to issue the command. This is not the file itself. This is the path to the file. Cat wants the path. Most of these things just want the paths to the file. And I cat it, and it looks very different than the last one. That's just the way their HTML is formatted. Okay. Prints it out in a paginated manner. More files, part 5. And we get to the end. Okay. And we do Q for quit to get out of it. Using grep, look for this string. So we're going to use grep. I like that -n. Okay, and we're going to look for the string user datagram packet in more files part 5. And it didn't find it. Did I spell that correctly? They might have changed it since I wrote this. Really? How about regular? Okay. Wow. Maybe they changed it since I wrote it. That's unfortunate. So, but I used that. I just looked for the word regular instead. Okay. Another interesting flag that you can add to grep is called C, and it's context, and it gives you context about where it appeared. Oh. So I said, give me 5 lines of context, -C5. Give me 5 lines of context. So it finds the thing that I'm looking for, the red one, and then it gives me 5 lines before and 5 lines after of context. So it gives me context of where it was within. Like, it gives me the line numbers because I also put N, but context helps me more visualize it, like where it is. Just another little interesting flag in grep. Not super important. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, like just for the grep, and if I want to find some specific string, but the string might be like some word it's capital or like uppercase or lowercase. Is there any way to find both of the string?
Yeah, you can use regular expressions.
The dash I.
Yeah, you can use regular expressions with grep. I think there's a special flag that you need to set. Anchoring. Oh, can you just do regular expressions? So you can, so you would, if you wanted to do that, you probably have to go. So I'm just looking on the left-hand side, I'm just looking on documentation on grep regular expressions. So grep case insensitive, ignoring case. So let's see how to do that. So I would do this often, like I would ask that same question, but I would ask the internet, oh, okay, dash I, you can exclude case from grep and make it not case sensitive, just add the I. Okay, cool. So let's try that. Let's get rid of, let's put capital R and let's put I. So a lot of these flags actually, you can put all together, okay? N, line numbers, I, case insensitive, C, context. The thing is with context, it requires a number to go with it. So where's my insert? It requires a number to go with it. So I would put it last in the arguments. If there are multiple arguments that require some sort of input, like a number or something, I would separate them, like you saw me do here. Right? So you can separate your arguments like that, or you can put them, together in some cases. And sometimes it's just a matter of like testing it out. You might run the wrong command sometimes. Usually it will just not work. And that's okay, right? I write a lot of commands that just don't work. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So let's try this. Cool, so I found it. Actually, wait, we knew there's capital R. Let's try lowercase r. Cool, and it found the same ones. Okay, so I use lowercase r. Here. Okay.
Yeah, nice, thanks.
Yeah. And obviously just by quickly looking on the internet, grep supports regular expressions, which means regular expressions means that you can find complex strings. Okay, they don't have to be just straight up strings like that. You can find like, you know, something that has a dot in it, or the one I saw was just like star. So go find all the words that instead of regular, it could be regular. That didn't work. Okay, whatever. Not exactly sure. I haven't done that really before. Okay, next up, what do we got? Do the following command. Apparently I screwed up on this one.
Because you use the star in the code.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I screwed up this one. Apparently right somewhere. EXT. Now we'll find it. We'll find, oh, this one, number 2. EXT. They should, all of these should be EXT, EXT, EXT. I accidentally just put EX for some of them. So I hope you didn't just copy and paste. Because if you did copy and paste, you're not actually doing the muscle memory thing anyways. So here we're trying some redirection, right? So I'm going to copy this string and I'm going to say echo, paste, redirect to a file called ext13.txt. What is that file? I don't know. It's brand new. It's going to just get created. And we see, let me just files. Okay. And we see ext13.txt is there. Okay. And we can actually take a look to see what's inside. And it's that string that I echoed. Echo just echoes out a string, just prints it back. If I echo right here, it just prints it right back at me. So it's not really useful in that sense, but I like to use echo often to empty out a file. So if I have a big text file, I'll just echo empty string directly into that text file, like this. And it blanks it out. It deletes everything. It's like setting text content to empty string. We compared it to a DOM thing. Okay. Then we're going to do echo, hi there. And we're going to put it into ext12. And I should probably rerun this command here. Okay, get that text back into 13. By the way, in case you didn't know, in the terminal, you can hit the up and down arrows to cycle through previously successful commands. Bad commands don't show up. Partially formed commands don't show up. So if I hit up now, it's not going to show me this. It's going to show me this one, the most recent successful command. Oh, okay, well, in my face, right? It should not show me that. History doesn't show me that. Oh, it does. Wow. Okay. That might be a Z shell thing. I'm very surprised at that. But you can cycle through the previous ones. And you can cycle back using the down key. Okay. That's how I'm able to get back so quickly. So we did this one, we did that one, and we're going to cat them both, and we're going to pipe them to less. So I can concatenate ext12 and ext13 in one command. That would concatenate them both to the screen, but I don't want to concatenate them to the screen. I want to concatenate them to less. So imagine these were filled with lines, right? If I output them to less, I can paginate them. Now, I wouldn't typically need to do it like this because I could probably just say less ext12, ext13. Yeah, I can actually, and it says next file, right? And actually it paginates the files, but it's just an example of what you could do. You can pipe it. You can take the output from one and push it into the next. Okay. So we didn't look at this yesterday. This takes this output and puts it into cat, which is actually no different. ext13. It doesn't change really this, how that's working, but it pulls the output from this file and shoves it into here. It redirects the output from here into there. You don't use it that much. Less, same thing. Same thing. Cat, same thing. So cat on this one, so we're going to cat ext13 into a new file, ext15. This is essentially a copy. We're copying the contents of this file into a new file called this. And now if we look at if we looked at these two files, ext13, ext15, they would be the same. So if I cat ext13 and then I cat ext15, they're the same. Okay. What does the double greater than do? Echo, I am a new file into ext15. What does the double greater than do? Does anyone remember? You can tell me.
Writing at the end of the text.
Yeah, single greater than is an overwrite, right? Double greater than is an append. So it adds it to the end. So it added, I'm a fun guy because I make poems that make babies cry. Did it not? Oh, because I copied and pasted. There we go. I am a new file. New line, new file. Okay. Again, other ones. These are just piping it. So this one is outputting it cat txt 15.txt to another text file. Just, it's essentially copying the contents, cat, another text, okay? And I know these are redundant, but that's not the point, right? The point is to practice and to figure out what's going on, to make mistakes and try to correct them. And then more, you probably didn't have more. I think Git Bash doesn't have more. More doesn't exist in Git Bash, but it does exist in OS X, Mac OS, and Linux as well. Any questions on any of those? This next one is pretty much just practicing with our stars. So take a check, get the listing of only show me text files. Only show me text files. Files that end in .txt. Only show me files that ex star .star. Any file that starts with the word ex, has a dot in it, okay? So only these ones. So notice another .txt is not there because it doesn't start with ex, okay? Something else that's interesting, you could say like, only show me ex star 2 dot. So which one would this match? Yeah, this one, right? Ex star. Star matches as many letters as we need it to. 1, 0, okay? Multiples. So it would only show that one. LSE. Anything that starts with an E. LS star T. Anything that ends with a T. Okay. This one, so cat star.txt into big file.txt. This is going to copy all of the contents of all the text files, star.txt, into one file. Which order? Probably in the order that it finds them in, which is top to bottom alphabetically. Okay, you could probably change that if you wanted to. rm.txt, rm star.txt. Again, we saw this before. I can remove all the files. And then if we were to look at them, it's empty. Okay, and then these ones are dead. So now the big question is, how does star work? Right, that's the whole idea behind this. How does star work? Sleep. Research the sleep command. Make your terminal sleep for 5 seconds. Okay, so let's type in sleep command. Help. Sleep. Pause for a number of seconds. Suffix may be S for seconds, M for minutes, or H for hours, or D for days. Unlike most implementations that require number to be an integer, here number may be any arbitrary floating point number given 2 or more arguments. Pause for that amount of time. Okay, so I'm going to sleep for 5 seconds. 5,000 seconds. And figure out how to stop it. Okay. Sleep. 5S. Cannot read real-time clock. Okay. Date. Always a problem. 3, 4, 5. How do I stop this?
Q.
Control C.
Q? Nope. Well, I heard someone else.
Control break.
Control break? Where's break? I don't have a break on my keyboard.
Control C.
You have a Mac? Control C.
Control C. There we go. No, I don't have a Mac. I'm using a PC. Control C. Control C is the magic command. Okay, control. So we've got a couple controls here. Okay, we've got Control A. Control A. Note where my cursor is. Control A brings my cursor to the beginning of the line. Okay, so my cursor is now at the beginning. So if I type in, it's at the beginning. Control E brings my cursor to the end of the line. This is Mac users too. It's not command, it's control. Okay. Control E and Control A beginning. I don't know why A is beginning. Okay. E and makes sense. Control C is a break. Okay. If any command is running, it will attempt to exit that command. So, for example, if I'm in less, let me look at a file. Let me less a file here. Let me less ntuser.ini. User.ini. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's a short file. ntuser.dat. Whatever. Cylon.jpg. No, that'll be one line. If you're in the middle of something, okay, Control C usually kills it and exits it. It doesn't gracefully finish it, it kills it. Okay, so if you're stuck in a command and you need to exit to get back to your terminal, Control C is the magic. Okay, that's the magic. Control W, I think. What is Control W again?
Clear the
delete.
commands.
Delete the forward word.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Control W. Delete one word at a time, separated by spaces. Super helpful. And make it a directory, change to that directory using one command. Okay, so we looked at the pipe command. Now we're going to look at the ampersand, ampersand. The ampersand, ampersand looks like this. Make dir, test, and change directory into test. So the way it works, it's kind of like an and in programming. So do this, and then do this, but only do this if this was successful. So this allows you to make a directory and change into that directory in one shot. And it already exists. So there we go. I made the directory and I changed into that directory in one shot. Questions? All right, we're going to learn a couple of new commands and then we're going to be done. Okay, and then we're done. I'm not teaching you any more terminal commands. Okay, like tomorrow we're going to learn more stuff in the terminal, but they're not bash commands. We're going to start learning Git. Okay, so again, a lot of these commands you don't need to use. You need approximately a very small percentage of these commands, and they're going to encompass most of your use cases. But you know, just to let you know. Okay, so today we're looking at copy, history we looked at. So I'll show you a couple, okay? So we're gonna look at copy, CP. CP is very much like move. It allows you to, so for example, I have this Cylon. Hey, let's do this, ls-la star.jpg. So we're only gonna look at JPEGs. So I have this Cylon JPEG. So I'm gonna copy that Cylon JPEG. CP, Cylon.jpg. And the second argument is the new file I wanna create. Cylon copy.jpg. And so now if I list my JPEGs, I have two. CP copy. Okay. What's my exercise for today? My exercise, actually, I'm not going to teach you these. My exercise is for you to figure these out. So I won't show you ping or find or disk usage or tail. You should already know history. I will talk about dot files, and I'll talk about aliases, okay? Because those are interesting. So for dot files, what a dot file is, and we don't see any in Windows because Windows is an exception again. Just to give you context, like 95% of the internet is run on Linux. It's not run on Windows. Okay, so although we use Windows every day, Windows is more of a consumer operating system. It's for people, consumers, right? It's not to run the internet on and to run servers and to do that. So as web developers, we typically, I in my opinion, it's probably best to invest some time into learning Bash and Linux and stuff like that to really get an understanding of, like, I develop for the internet. It's probably worth understanding the types of computers that the internet runs on. And so what I'm showing you today for Windows is an exception. Dot files don't apply to Windows. They apply to every other computer but Windows. So I'm gonna pop over to my Linux terminal over here. Okay, so I'm going to show you the contents of my home directory. So I'm going to go to my home directory and I'm going to do an ls, and you're going to see nothing. And I'm going to do an ls-l, you'll see nothing. I'm going to do a new one, ls-la. A stands for all, and you're going to see a ton of stuff. Okay, so all these files that start with a dot, these are hidden files. Okay, so in Linux, the convention has become, it's not a convention, it's actually true, that dot files are considered hidden from the system, from normal directory listings. It doesn't mean that we can't see them. As you can tell, I just throw on a little flag and they show up, but they're intended to be hidden because they usually contain like configuration, okay? And it's no different in this case. All these are little configuration files, okay, that I can use. So the one that I care about is going to be these RC files, Zshell RC. You may also see a .profile in yours. If you're using Git Bash, okay, this will apply here. You can create a file, code, bash profile. Okay, and we can, so it's called dot bash profile. I opened it up in code, and that goes in your home directory. Okay, that goes in your home directory. If you wanted to do anything when the terminal opens or do some custom stuff, it goes inside your bash profile. Okay, so I can run custom things like echo. Hey everyone. Inside my bash profile, dot bash underscore profile. This is a special file name that bash looks for when it opens up in the home directory and says, hey, is there any custom stuff that the user wants to run? And so I just have this, I just put echo, hey everyone. So I saved this file. So now when I look in here, I should have ls-la. I do have some bash history, bash profile, config, git config, VS Code. So I've got 5 hidden files. Okay. When I close this and I reopen it, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to run bash profile. And what did I have in my bash profile? Echo, hey everyone. So it's going to print that out. Okay. So we're going to close this. And we're going to reopen git bash. And see the first thing it did? Printed out, hey everyone. So it loads, the first thing it does is it loads that file and allows me to put any custom stuff in there. So one of the things that I have in my bash profile files is something called aliases. An alias is the ability for me to make up shortcuts for these commands, okay? So you might see me do this very often, ls-la. I like looking at my folders so that they show everything, including the hidden files. I want to see those all the time, and I don't want to have to type ls-la all the time, okay? Instead, I have an alias set up in my bash profile. Aliases look like this. So I'm aliasing LL or whatever I want. I can just call it L. So when I hit L, enter, it runs this command. I think it takes a semicolon after that. Can't remember. We'll find out. So I save that. Now, it doesn't run right away. I have to restart the terminal. So we'll close that. And we'll restart it. And now, what did I alias it to? L. So if I type in L, enter, oh. I have created my own custom command, my own custom shortcut, and alias. I can do that from here too, alias. John equals ls-lah. H is human readable file sizes. Right? So now if I type in John, it gives me human readable file sizes as well as all the other stuff. But the problem with putting it in here is it only lasts as long as this is open. Once this closes and then reopens, it's gone. Okay. So if you wanted to save something so that way you have this like ongoing thing all the time, your custom settings, this custom configuration, like I said, these dot files are often hidden and they're often configuration files. Your custom configuration, that goes in the dot bash profile or dot ZSH RC or bash RC or dot profile. Okay, so sorry, there's so many, depends on the version of things that you're using. So it's either going to go in dash profile, dash RC. If you're using Z Shell on a upgraded Mac, Z Shell RC or dot profile. Okay. These two are the most powerful. These two will load this, loads this. So if you put it in here, it for sure happens. Okay, but Bash changed how it operated, so it might operate in one of them. So this is really common. Okay, like people have, I should show you, I haven't brought over my Bash RC from my, I'll show you my Z Shell RC. Okay, so I have a custom terminal in my Z Shell RC. So I have a profile. So I don't have a Bash profile over here. I have a Bash RC because I can also switch to Bash. Okay, so I can switch it to Bash. So I have my Bash RC, but I also have my Z Shell RC. Okay, and I can show you the contents of my Z Shell RC. This is RC is configuration file. Okay, so we'll just cat. Let's less it. Let's code it. Code. Okay, so I've got a lot in here. I've got aliases. Well, this is massive. So I have some custom stuff here and export. Don't worry about that. All this is commented out stuff. I've got my custom, I have a Git plugin. I've got some Bash completion stuff. I have a special prompt that I'm loading. You won't understand this stuff. I barely understand this stuff, but I understand it enough to get it working. But there's a lot of stuff you can put in here, and it automatically runs. So that's what all of these are configuration files. That's what all of them are. Okay, a lot of the times we don't need to worry about them, but they're there if we need. Okay, so Saria, you were asking me about aliases. It goes in your, or you're asking about remove directory, right? I can create a hidden file root.
Yeah, in removing hidden files.
Yeah, removing hidden files. So I can create a directory, right? CD into test. I can create hidden files. Touch dot. Hey, I'm hidden. And then if I try to remove that directory, rm dir test, can't, it's not empty. Oh, weird. Okay, let me go into it and remove star. Remove everything. Am I sure? Yeah, let's delete all the files. And then you do your directory listing, nothing shows up. You're like, what the hell? Okay, cool. So I deleted everything. Now remove dir. Nope. All right, so we go back into test and then we're like, but I know about hidden files now. ls-la, A for all. That's why. rm-dot, hey, I'm hidden.
So the first two, dot and dot.
So in Linux, in Unix, everything is a file. Everything. This is a really hard concept, so don't let it bog you down. Everything is treated like a file, which is why directories look like files. They're just different colors. Dot. What is dot? Parent.
Get out of it.
It's not get out of. That's the parent directory.
Yeah.
Right. So it's treated like a file, right? So it shows up like, yeah, this is dot. That's up. What's dot? What's this one?
This.
That's this. That's me. That's this directory, right? So dot is where you are right now. Dot is your parent. So those show up too, right? and then anything that has dot in front of it is hidden. So this dot and this dot are unrelated to each other. Just coincidence. That's it. So there is your 3-day Bash crash course. I've shown you an excess of things, but I would consider the things that I showed you is more than you need to know, but also the most common tasks that you will see run. Okay, you see pipes, you see ampersands, you see greater than signs, you see history, you see flags, you see ls, you see curl. Okay, while I do say like you probably only use 10 to 15% of the commands that I showed you probably encompass 90% of those other 80% that you don't use on a frequent basis. Okay, so there is still a small slice of stuff I'm not covering, but that's really more advanced stuff. So like you use most of this much. I showed you all this extra stuff that you'll see very frequently. And then there's a small little bit of more like way advanced stuff that you'll see, but you just learn as you go along. Okay, changing directories, moving things around, copying things, creating new files, deleting files. That is your bread and butter. Okay, that's the stuff that you need to be really confident with. Knowing where you are, those are the things that are going to get you places. Okay, I have an exercise this afternoon, and it's research. Go look up this command. Go look up that command. Go try this. I'll talk about them tomorrow morning. Okay, very briefly, and then create aliases. I asked you to create aliases. If you're using Z shell, don't put them in your bash RC. Put them in your Z shell RC. If you are using bash, put them in your bash profile. So this probably doesn't apply to anyone, really. Depends what version of Mac OS you're using. And just navigate around. Any questions? It's very different, right? Very, very different than programming. But I hope you're enjoying it because like you're learning to be a power user. And we'll keep practicing. Starting tomorrow, we're going to continue to use the shell. I'm going to show you new commands, but they're not commands from bash, they're commands from Git. So you'll get more comfortable. And I'll scold you again, being like, what do you mean you don't know how to do this? I taught you 2 days ago. So don't make me do that. Okay, just practice. Again, if you don't know, ask me, poke me. I'm on till 3 o'clock. I'm on till 5 o'clock. I have a 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock meeting, so I'll be around. Okay, shoot me any questions that you have, and I'll be happy to jump in and answer.
Sir.
Yeah.
I cannot log in the website again.
Oh, okay. I'll export this and post it in a PDF, and I'll post it into the Discord chat room. Okay. All righty. Okay. I'll see you all tomorrow morning, 8:45. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the sun. Go for a walk.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.